Hello, I'm Krishna Raghavendran, and in this tutorial of MIT App Inventor, we are going to see how to create a calculator app using MIT App Inventor. So this is a simple calculator where you enter the two numbers and then click on the operation. So I'm going to enter the number 1 to be 1000 and then number 2 to be 500. Now when I click on add, you can see that it shows the correct result, which is 1500. Next I'll click on subtract. You can see again it shows the correct result, multiply and then divide. So let's see how to create this app. So you will also learn how to use math operators in MIT App Inventor. If you are new to my channel is all about creating your own mobile apps free and easily using a tool called MIT App Inventor, which is block-based coding and easy. So if you want to create fantastic mobile apps, start now by clicking the red subscribe button and the bell icon. So first we are going to bring the label component like this. Next I'm going to change the text of this label to be calculator app. Now I'm going to make the font to be bold and let's increase the font size of this label to be 30 like this. Next I'm going to bring this to be at the center of screen 1. So let me go to screen 1 and let's change align horizontal to be center like this. Now we have finished the title. Next let's go to layout and we are going to bring in vertical arrangement. Over here I'm going to put the height and width of this to be fill parent so that it occupies the whole screen of the mobile. Next what I'm going to do is let's go to the align horizontal property of the vertical arrangement and make sure it is center and the same for align vertical like this. Next we are going to bring in a horizontal arrangement and this time we are going to put the width to be fill parent like this. We will put the align horizontal and align vertical to be center like this. Now let's go and bring in a label and then let's change the text of this label to be number 1. Now I'm going to make the font to be bold and let's increase the font size of this to be 18 like this. Next we are going to bring in a text box like this and in this text box they will enter the number 1 or the first number for which they need to do the calculation. Now what we are going to do is let's change the hint of this to be enter a number. Now in the properties of the same text box, make sure that numbers only checkbox is enabled. What this will do is this will allow the user to input or type only numbers, not letters. So if the user types in letter, it will give an error. So that's why we are going to enable this feature which will show only numbers in the number keyboard. So next what we are going to do is let me just duplicate it by doing Ctrl C and Ctrl V on the horizontal arrangement. Now I'm going to change the number 1 this label to be number 2 and then over here in the text box all the properties are going to be the same. Now we are going to bring another horizontal arrangement. So let's go to layout and I'm going to bring in the component like this. Now let's put the width of this to be fill parent again and then now let's go to the align horizontal and align vertical properties and make sure it is center like this. Now let's go over here and we are going to bring in the button component and let's change the text of this button to be add and also make sure you put the sign in the brackets. Now you can see that I have put add and then the symbol. Now I'm going to make the font to be bold and now I'm going to duplicate this button and I'm going to change the text to be subtract. Now I'm going to duplicate the whole horizontal arrangement by selecting the border over here and doing Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Now make sure you change both of these to multiply and divide. Now you can see that I added all the 4 buttons. Next let's bring in another label and over here I'm going to change the text of this to be result and I'm going to make the font to be bold and let's increase the font size of this to be 25 like this. Now I'm going to duplicate the same label and let's just erase all the text and then we are going to put an hyphen symbol like this to show that there's no result because they didn't enter anything in the text box. So we will calculate the results in the block section. Now before we go to the block section, there is one more main thing you must do, which is renaming the components. What this will do is when you rename the component, we can understand properly in the block section. So it will be easier for us to code. So let me click on the text box and I'm going to rename this to be num1 or number 1. So now let me go to the other text box and we are going to do it for all the buttons and then the labels too. Now you can see that over here I renamed these text boxes to be num1 and num2, and then the buttons to be add, subtract, multiply and divide for each of the buttons. I also renamed this label. Don't confuse between the result label and this one. So this label is called the result because we will show it over here. So I didn't rename these components because we will not use them in the block section. I also didn't rename the title because we are not going to change it in the block section. Now let's go to the block section. So first what we are going to do is, let me go to this button, add button, and when the add button is clicked, we need to add the two numbers which are entered in these text boxes, which is num1 and num2. So to add both of them, and after adding we will show them in this label which is called the result label. So for that, let me first go over here to the result label, and then I'm going to bring in this block, set result.text2, and then the text is going to be, we will add both the numbers because it is the add button. So let me go to the math blocks, and over here you'll be able to see many blocks for many different operations. So let me bring in the addition operator like this, and then now let's go over here to num1, and then we will bring in num1.text, which means whatever they entered in the text box. Now let me duplicate it, and now it is num2. So num1 plus num2, and then it will show the result like this. Now let me duplicate this block, and this time let's change this to be subtract. So when the subtract button is clicked, we will again set the result to num1 minus num2. So let's just remove both of these, and then I'm going to delete this block, and now we are going to go to the math blocks again, and this time let's bring in the subtraction operator and put it like that. Now let me duplicate this again, and then this time let's change this to be multiply, and then again I'm going to do the same thing. First I'm going to remove both of these out of the subtraction operator, and then let me go over to the math blocks and bring in the multiplication operator like this. Now let me duplicate this again, and we are going to do it for the last operation, which is division. So let me, when divide dot click, and then over here what I'm going to do is, let me just remove these two blocks, and I'm going to delete it like that. And now again in the math blocks I'm going to bring in the divide symbol or the divide operation like this. Now you can see that we did all the four operations. So if you want more operations, you can see that there are many other operations over here in the math blocks. So what this will do is, this is the exponent sort to the power. So if you put 2 and then over here 2, it is 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. And then you can choose a random integer, and then you can also do the modulus, which will give you the remainder. So here you can see the app. I'm going to enter the number 1 to be 200, and then number 2 to be 300 like this. Now I'm going to click on the add like this, and then you can see the result is 500. Now click on subtract, and you can see that the result is minus 100 or negative 100, and then now I'll multiply both of them and then divide. You can see that all the results are correct. Next you need to add voice functionality for this calculator. So you can use your voice, and then it will tell the answer using text to speech. The mobile will speak out the answer. So you can use speech recognition and ask any questions like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So to create a voice calculator app using MIT App Inventor, watch this video and also watch my full course of MIT App Inventor over here.